Hey there everyone, welcome to the skill runes preview for the new water skill runes. There's quite a bit I want to get through in this video because I also want to talk about Banefire, so I'm going to press on as fast as I can. The Healing Shrine skill rune for wizards, this one is insane. This Healing Fountain has always been bad in PvE because it just doesn't heal you fast enough, and the previous skill rune which added stun, you could use it for kind of crowd control. It just wasn't strong enough to actually be worth putting in your hotbar. And you couldn't really use it to heal up, but cupcakes were just a much better way to do it. So this new one, they've completely revamped it, made it heal triple as fast, so it heals 30% per second, which means you can stand in it. You can't stand next to a boss and be attacked. Obviously you're still going to be one-shot by things, because there's no damage reduction, but still, that healing means you can really tank stuff, which is awesome. And then the best thing about this is the damage, which is just insane. I haven't put it into the skill rune guide that I've got right now to show the damage potential of this, but yeah, it's 10,988 plus 150%, and that's done per second, and yeah, it's water damage, so that can't be multiplied. Now, to give you an example, okay, everyone knows flame cannon is a good one shot. Greater 1 mana bolts is actually kind of equivalent if you have bonuses. Remember, of course, Master of Ice can give plus 200% water stats, so that's really why I'm focusing on this so much. So, greater 1 mana bolts, that's roughly 500% water damage, and that, if you have Master of Ice and stuff, is a one-shot in PvP, very powerful. This, if you look at the numbers of it, it's roughly 180% or so, 180% water per second. So in 3 seconds, you're gonna do more than a greater 1 mana bolts, and then that's a one shot. So in 3 seconds, I'm talking PvP here. In 3 seconds, you can kill people with this healing fountain. So yeah, the damage potential is huge, and in PvE, this is just amazing. It actually hits about as much as an empowered frozen sphere when that's maxed each hit. I'll show that now, and also I want to show obviously the healing and the knockback. Right, so if we get the enemies out here, put this up here, you'll see it hits about 500,000 when it crits. I probably should make sure I avoid one-shots. But yeah, anyway, it also stops hurting them if you die, you can see there. But yeah, so it hits about 500,000 per hit, and you'll see when they get knocked back, they get thrown back a long way, really far away from where you're stood. Now I'm going to have to heal up. So if I now use Empowered Frozen Sphere here, that does about 500,000 too. So yeah, that's solid proof. If you look at my stats here, I'm 28,000. I'm sort of properly geared, and strangely, they still got damage when they walked out of it. They definitely wasn't doing that before. I don't think it's meant to do that. I'll just double check now. But yeah, that should be proof enough to you that it is very, very good damage. Yeah, they're still getting hurt. That is insane! Absolutely insane. I didn't even realise that. Okay, so enemies that walk outside of it still get hurt for the duration of the 2 seconds. So you definitely want to use it on top of enemies, I guess, and then either run away or tank if they're smaller enemies. And I'll just show it with Master of Ice to prove that you can do what will be pretty much triple now, because right now I've got 50% water boost, so it'll be close to triple. Oh, did it? Yeah, I got knocked back when using Master of Ice. I've got to wait a little bit. But anyway, that's pretty much everything I want to show with this. It is amazing for, it's completely revamped it to how it should really be for PvE. And for PvP, the healing's halved, so it's essentially 15% rather than the normal 10% of the base skill. And, alright. Ah, no, come on. Actually, I probably should have just died to make it quicker first. Anyway, so in PvP, it's a bit faster healing, and because of the damage it does, no one should mess with you. No one should try to run in. You can see that it's hitting about 1 million, so yeah, it's about double damage because of the boosted water bonus. Anyway, so yeah, the damage is huge. That's fire enemies, amazing, and for PvP it's now even stronger. So no one mess with a wizard if they use Fountain. Just run away. That's how it always should have been, and I think that's mostly why many people were complaining that just wizards were too powerful, they can tank too well and stuff, and it's because you're trying to face them when when they're stood in a fountain, and you think you can beat them, but actually it's like trying to face a knight in angelic form, except it lasts longer, and it's just not quite as powerful. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not going to moan too much because obviously You can get stuck in a corner when they're using Healing Fountain, all that kind of stuff, but yeah, just don't mess with a wizard when they're using that. So the next one we're going to look at is Water Volley. This is very cool, I like it lots. Comparing it to Empowered Rapid Fire, it does slightly more damage. You can see it's got 150%, which is now water instead of fire, and then it's just slightly more on the static damage there. The main thing that's really cool here, though, is the faster attack rate. That's what will make you choose this over the fire one. If we compare it here slightly, yeah, I'll compare the two here. Okay, so I'll just get rid of that. So this is the new one. If you walk towards it and then run on, you can see there the arrows come out very quickly, and then I'll show the old one where they come out a bit more staggered. And what you'll really see is if I run from the right to the left, and I'll attack that as I walk past, and then I'll do it with the other one. So if you see it running here, I attack it, run on. That's how long you're locked in the animation for. And if I do it with this new one, we run across, and that's it there. It actually feels quite a lot faster when you try it in practice. And what this really means is that in DPS terms, for archers, I mean damage per second, it makes a huge difference, and makes it a lot more viable for stuff as long as your water stat's high. And the problem is lots of people have their fire stat really high, so this one won't be for them. But it is your best water option, and that's what I'm going to talk about now. So before this, you had a few water options like Mark of Ice, which other than the skill being quite limited because it's single target and long cooldown with only 10-second duration, the damage off it is 5,412 plus 7%. That works out as towards 30% of your damage each hit. So it's a 30% damage boost, which all comes out as water, so you can multiply it. But really, it's not going to do huge amounts for your damage potential. And then the other one here is, I've got it equipped actually, Empowered Shattering Shot, which if you compare the two for damage, Empowered Shattering Shot does 145% non-elemental damage, and then if you look at the other numbers, it's about 145% water damage as well. Water Volley does 315% non-elemental damage, which is about double, and then the water damage, if you work it out as percentage, it works out at about 180% times by 3, so 540%. So it's about triple the water damage and double the base the non-elemental damage. And they've got the same sort of mana, same cooldown. So really, what you're looking there is animation time, and if you look at that, it's round about the same. So yeah, it's a lot better than alternatives. It's definitely the best water move that's out there, and I won't bother showing it in PvE just to cut down on time because I've gone on about it a bit. But yeah, basically, if you compare it to your attack speed, it attacks slightly faster if you've got sort of all-round stats like this. If you've got higher stats, then it will attack slightly slower than your normal basic attack. However, because of the extra damage boost, it is going to probably increase your damage per second very slightly, as long as you're keeping the stacks of, say, Scorching Arrow on. So you attack with some basic attacks first, and then just spam Water Volley whenever it comes off. What you're really comparing is, so Empowered Blasting Shot will not activate off it. However, the low chance of activating means this isn't really a big factor. But if you're using Mark of Ignition, which essentially doubles your damage output, well, I say double, it adds on your damage output sort of a second time, but all fire damage. So if you've got, say, 100% fire bonus, it actually triples your damage output. And yeah, that will not activate off the arrows which come out of Water Volley. So if you have this and you have a high fire bonus, there is no point using Water Volley. Even if you're like fighting enemies where it's just, where it's half damage and that kind of stuff, Mark of Ignition will be your solid amount of damage output from basic attacks. And you don't use Water Volley. However, if you don't have that active on the boss or the enemy or whatever, then Water Volley will be great. And of course, the last thing to mention is PvP, which is because Empowered Rapid Fire is known as a good one-shot, and the only problem with it is the long animation time. It's not actually that long, but archers complain it's long, and yeah, I can get it's kind of annoying getting locked into an animation like that that's long. But yeah, so if you have an equally high water bonus, so that Water Volley is also a one-shot, then Water Volley is definitely a better choice there because of the faster animation time. So that should cover everything in terms of the Archer skill ring. And so yeah, I'll go on to the Knight one now. Now the Knight one I actually really quite like, but it had a few problems on release, and for whatever reason I can't get it to work properly for me, so I'm going to show someone else's video. But talking about it first, the way it works is, instead of being Stone Skin was the sort of most liked one, that sort of heals you per second or whatever, not really that good anymore because health has just got really high. But yeah, so this one, it adds on a 50% heal from time to time. This is it activates from basic attacks. It's quite a low activation rate from what most people expect, but yeah, it's sort of every few seconds, every 4 to 5 seconds kind of thing, and it heals you by 15%, which is a reasonable little heal, and deals some damage. Same damage as what we saw in the other ones, with my kind of stats and the 50% mortar bonus. That's 500,000 in a little AoE around you, which is nice. So it's a nice sort of damage little heal buff, which you get when using this skill. So not completely overpowered, but considering Protector is actually really good in PvE, it's almost sort of especially when you're soloing, like you use this skill. It's one of the sort of standard skills everyone uses, and PvP doesn't have so much use, but you may want to tag it on for this kind of buff on your basic attacks, and yeah, kind of quite nice. Not as powerful as the Wizard one. We saw the Wizard one, the Healing Shrine's definitely the most powerful out of these. Water Volley's nice, and yeah, this is nice too. So I'm actually going to show Sir Gaudlin here. He's from Dragon Lords, and I hope he doesn't mind me showing this little clip he shared on the forum. But it shows the skill ring actually working, and I can't get it to work. I think it's because I got it before. Well, I'm in a different version as well and stuff. So yeah. Anyway, basically he's going to run up there and start attacking the boss, and you'll see it's a little burst around him where he does blue damage numbers to the enemies, and yeah, as you can see, it sort of comes out for a few seconds. I think the next boss will be a good example as well. I think this is the best example here. So that's it there, and again then. So yeah, as you can see, every few seconds. So yeah, that's quite cool, and that's what I'm going to show for the Knight one. And we're going to move on from the skill rings now to talk about Banefire. So Banefire is a new tank dragon that's come, and it's definitely a premium dragon. Requires a lot of silver across the evolutions, and then also a load of fish. It's 5.4 times the usual fish, so to max this is just ridiculous. I don't know anyone who would really consider maxing this, but anyway, I was interested in getting the claws at least, because I thought, well, it looks really good, so, let's test it out. But actually, it's not as good as I thought it was going to be. The only uses, I'm just saying this up front, the only uses I see for it are PvP, where it is absolutely awesome, and for Knights. For Wizards and Archers, it's just not really useful in PvE, but for Knights, it can have some use. The reason is because of the skills. So it's got the usual sort of stamina strength, and then the other two, this one is kind of interesting. So every 10 seconds this can happen, and it's a chance thing. When you get hit, that's you, not the dragon, then it has a chance of teleporting to your location, and it does a huge AoE which stuns all enemies around you and does some damage. The damage is very low. This is a tank dragon, so the damage on it is just pitiful. It's really about the health, so none of the damage output of this dragon is factored into anything really. So yeah, what this does is it teleports to your location and stuns enemies around you. Quite nice for tanking, for a tank dragon. But what this really has use for is PvP. I haven't tested it out, but I can imagine that if you get attacked, and the other person's nearby you, this guy teleporting in next to you and stunning the enemy is going to be very good. And of course, the damage in PvP will actually be, something. It will hurt the enemies a little bit. The first skill is a little bit weird, and that's why I thought it might be really good, but actually isn't so much. So it says it creates a shield on itself equal to a certain amount of its total HP. So at maximum, this is 30% of its HP, and it says it redirects half the damage you and your nearby party members receive to itself. So that's really awesome. It's like a 50% damage reduction on everything, which doesn't stack with other things. It's just 50% of whatever you would take, and it gets directed to Banefire instead. The thing is, that shield on itself isn't actually a shield. It still takes damage. It's just that that's the maximum amount of damage that it will redirect from you to it. So let's show it in combat. So in combat, I hope now what we're going to see is that the damage will be directed to it. I'm going to take less damage when it's got the thing active. He has it active most of the time. So you see there, I took half health from that. Oh, I should probably... Hold on. I'll use this. There we go. So I took half health. The animation for it, that is the damage reduction there. Oh, I can just heal up with potions. Sorry. Okay. When it has that fiery aura, that is the damage reduction. And that beam thing is when it's teleporting towards you. So that doesn't actually do any damage to the nearby enemies, even though it's the animation which we see on Flamewing. Yeah, so he's kind of reducing the damage I take by half all this time, which if you try the map yourself, you'll know how much damage you actually take from these things. And yeah, you can see, anyway, I'm struggling to die, which is surprising, considering this is Platinum. But anyway, so if I show the damage it's taking when it has the shield active, you'll see it still takes a lot of damage. And yeah, so that's not actually a shield. That's what I wanted to talk about, really, was that the shield on itself, it still continues to take damage right now. You can see all these numbers, which are either water or... actually, why are there water? Don't know why there would be water damage hits. But anyway, yeah, basically it's taking damage, even when it's got the shield active. So actually, as a tank dragon, it's nothing special at all, because it has no way to heal itself, no way to reduce the damage it takes. All it does is give you a damage reduction, and it teleports and stuns enemies around you. So yeah, it's really a PvP dragon. It is nothing special at all for PvE, other than for knights. It's basically a support dragon, because knights don't really benefit that much from other tank dragons, because they are a tank themselves. And yeah, so also you see that sort of red ball around it, that's the full animation. It's the fire with the red ball around it. But yeah, you can see it is dying, and this is like max level. So it's not completely indestructible like other ones which heal up. And yeah, that's pretty much what it is. So it's slightly unfortunate considering how much of a premium dragon it is, with the amount of damage it takes. Sorry, with the amount of fish it takes. And yeah. Anyway, so that is all what I wanted to show in this video. I am now back from my time away. I spent 2 weeks away, and I'm hoping to start doing all my dragon stuff. This is an up-to-date listing of all the dragons. You can't see it here, but if you can actually zoom in your browser, if it lets me, there we go, to see this table here, which I've shared. I'm going to share this onto my Facebook group as well. So this is an up-to-date look at how much experience and silver and claws it takes for dragons to go up the different qualities. And I noted some of the changes, because some people noticed how some changes, their mythic claws increased from 200 to 250. So I've noted that in, changed it on there. So I noted there, Harlequin, actually the silver costs reduced dramatically on the later qualities, meaning it's actually worthwhile to get to mythic now. It's a pointless dragon other than for the drops and for the sort of healing. But anyway, also noted the claws turning into dust when they just turn into 1 dust rather than 5. And here is showing the fish, how much experience is required at the different qualities. So I didn't actually say which ones are which exactly, but if you look at the total here, like for Banefire here, he takes 241 million. So he's this one here, and you can see he takes 1 million for superior quality, 2 million for epic, and yeah, it goes up. That's how much experience is needed for the different qualities. So I'm going to share this on my Facebook group, and this is going to be part of my Battle Dragons guide, which I'm going to be writing. I'm currently going through the dragons and putting together what all their skills do, how good they are, and that kind of stuff. So you can see I've done a few of them so far. Banefire here is at the bottom, and yeah, so I've done some some shadow ones. And yeah, overall, going to do that all, going to make videos about them all, and put that all into guide stuff. So hopefully that will be coming out over the next few weeks. And I'll, yeah, obviously keep you updated as I put out the videos. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks very much.